Thanks so much for stopping by to listen to me. Listen, so if you tuned in yesterday to our Camp Engage keynote, I was having some mic issues. And I really wanted to be able to make sure that you understood what I wanted to convey about inclusivity and how much it really matters to what we do here at Nearpod. So I made this short video just to make sure that you know how much this means to me. I also wanted to share my reflection of all of my mic issues yesterday. I wondered, how could I have three pairs of earphones, two different computers, which both have microphones, but somehow no one could hear me? The lesson that I learned and that I hope that everyone learned is that in these times, especially over virtual learning, hybrid learning, technology may cause you issues. I'm so glad that I was quickly able to pick up my phone, dial into the broadcast, and still share that message with you. And what I learned is that you always need to have a backup plan. It's better to be prepared. I learned that not yesterday, but growing up as a Girl Scout. So now I just want to share this tidbit of the keynote with you. And again, thanks so much for tuning in. So we talked to you yesterday about the values of the company Nearpod and how those values tie into everything that we do. I wanted to talk to you about inclusivity. And you may be wondering just what an angel and this book about Shirley Chisholm have to do with inclusivity in Nearpod. But I want you to know that I consider inclusivity to be tantamount to our success. And I believe that many of the times our success and our experience create how we show up in the world. So I wanted to share some of my experiences with you. One of my favorite childhood memories is of Christmas. We would always have a real Christmas tree. And so the smell of the pine would fill the house. And my mom would pull out her containers and we would start decorating the Christmas tree. The final touch on that Christmas tree would be the angel that would sit on top. Now, I was born in the 80s, and back in the 80s, there was not a lot of diversity when it comes to Christmas decorations. And so our angel did not have any melanin in her skin. But my mom would pull out her paintbrush and she would paint the angel brown. And at the time, I didn't really think a lot of it because, that was just what we did. That's just what my mom did. And I thought it was cool and it's what she did. But as I grew older, I realized the value that my mom was instilling in me. She wanted me to know that in this world, who I was mattered. She wanted to provide that affirmation that my skin was beautiful. And she wanted to provide me some reflection of my skin in everything around me. She reminded me that how we show up in the world holds value. And to be frank, if there were no brown angels sitting on the store at our local Kmart, she was going to make sure that I knew it was possible for that angel to sit on the top of our tree and be brown. This early lesson taught me to operate from a lens of inclusivity. It provided affirmation that representation matters. Not only does it matter, it creates space for us all. I'm currently reading a book by the great granddaughter of Ida B. Wells. It's called Ida Be the Queen. And in the book, the author, Michelle Duster, she too recounts some of her childhood memories. And she also had a childhood memory of her mom making the Santa and the angel brown with paint. When I read that in her book, it also gave me a sense of validation. The affirmation from my mom that it is possible. And then the validation from reading someone else's story and knowing that they had something in common with me. That affirmation and that validation is a powerful combination. It's the same feeling I first felt when I learned about Shirley Chisholm and her determination that men view women through the lens of inclusivity. Validation, my friends, is why I believe inclusivity is tantamount to the success and uplifting of the human race. Validation gives wings to affirmation, and we here at Nearpod know just how important it is. This is why Nearpod takes representation to heart with the principles of culturally responsive teaching at the foundation of all of our work. We take deliberate action to ensure our content is, as you've heard, not only effective and engaging, but also inclusive. This is why I keep this angel that you see on the screen in my home office. It sits on a shelf that my mom actually built when she was in high school. She was able to build this shelf in wood shop. And during that time in the 70s, most girls were not taking wood shop. But representation, inclusivity matters everywhere. So this angel reminds me that inclusivity is important. It sits on that shelf that my mom made in wood shop because representation not only deals with skin tone, but also gender. And this book reminds me that values cannot be bought and that the true work of inclusivity may not always be popular, but it is the right work. Because we know that inclusivity is the right work, we also know that it increases academic achievement. And we believe that students and teachers should see themselves and hear their voices in our content. If you look at these two charts that you see on the screen, you'll see that cultural diversity is a beautiful fact. We know that when students' identities and their lived experiences are included in their learning, it helps create a safe and healthy environment, which enables them to easily activate the learning centers of the brain. And we know that when those learning centers are activated, learning material is then able to connect to their lives in meaningful ways because it's building those neural connections, which are responsible for learning and memory. Inclusivity is necessary for academic success for all students. And because we know that inclusivity increases academic achievement, we work hard to ensure that we build our lessons in a way that includes a lens of inclusivity. So let's look at some ways that Nearpod addresses this. We know that too often one perspective or experience is amplified. So we seek out untold stories and perspectives in our content. One example is our Historical Perspectives in Literacy supplemental curriculum that brings culturally relevant, media rich, and inquiry based social studies experiences to the classroom. We also offer lessons from built in partnerships with trusted K 12 brands such as BBC Worldwide and Learning Justice, formerly known as Teaching Tolerance. We use the best educational resources and make them interactive with Nearpod. And of course, you know our lessons are not only inclusive, but they're also effective and engaging. Our Nearpod Originals, which is a brand new video series, features a diverse range of hosts and characters, including differences across race, ethnicity, nationality, culture, gender expression, socioeconomic background, personality, and even body shape and ability. Inclusivity matters everywhere. We also offer built-in virtual field trips to expose students to places they may not otherwise see. We believe that a focus on whole child development is key, so we offer social emotional lessons through our partnerships with the Calm app and Common Sense Education. So our students can breathe. Inclusivity matters, and it even includes emotional well being. And we know that amplifying student voices adds character and passion to the classroom. We know that when every student knows their voice is heard and every teacher knows they have multiple tools to connect with students, from collaborate boards to draw it, this is what allows learning to blast off. Finally, here at Nearpod, we offer lessons ready to go that speak to the values of our company and what we see as our responsibility towards equity in education. Here are a few examples. This lesson on Black Lives Matter amplifies a social justice cause. This vocabulary video provides the story of Sacagawea not just in black and white on a piece of paper, but from her own point of view. Here at Nearpod, we believe in uplifting untold narratives and amplifying multiple perspectives. One of my favorite lessons is this perspective analysis activity, Windows and Mirrors with Shirley Chisholm. If you'll recall, I started out with an image of an angel in Shirley Chisholm, the first Black woman elected to the United States Congress. This was in 1969, and it was not that long ago. In her book, Unbought and Unbossed, She said, the values of life must be maintained against the enemies in every guise. I propose that inclusivity is a value of life. Our learning and our outcome is collective. Inclusivity matters everywhere. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please be sure to follow me at QJacksonSSRocks on Twitter. I am the Nearpod brand ambassador for the East. That's New York to Florida and everything in between. I surely hope you're enjoying Camp Engage. Have a great day.